Hello, viewers, and welcome to Africa and Beyond the Television Network. And following the announcement by Comrade Geza last night, we have seen that so many people are on the run. And one of those people included on the list and is also on the run is Prophet Uebert Angel, who is also an ambassador for Zimbabwe to Europe and Americas. And he's a diplomat and he is in trouble. So he was supposed to have a church service right here in the nation of Zimbabwe in the coming days. But he gave a notice and he cancelled what he called the prophetic service. Why? It's because the situation in Zimbabwe has become volatile and is one of the most wanted people in team Geza. So he is listed amongst other men of God. But there is something which you need to take a look upon. The actions of Uebert Angel themselves is part and parcel of the gold mafia, where he's being accused of facilitating money laundering. And we need to take a look onto what really happened. Why is Uebert Angel on that list? So the main reasons why Uebert Angel is on the list, I was sent a detailed thing which speaks about the possible charges which might be preferred on Uebert Angel in the future. I said possible charges which means they may prosecute him or choose not to, depending on the character of the next government which is coming. So on the charge sheet which I have seen prepared for Uebert Angel, kuti kana zvikazoita vamutonge, they are saying that he abused what they call diplomatic immunity. So he is protected by diplomatic immunity, and because of that, he know for sure that the countries like United Kingdom, they can't charge him for money laundering or other criminal activities without the express agreement of Zimbabwe itself as a nation. So those are the issues which we discussed right there, to say he is taking advantage of his status as an ambassador to be running money laundering or other corrupt activities, especially the involvement in gold mafia. But that is not one of the biggest charges right there. The biggest charge which they are mostly pursuing is the issue of money laundering and illicit financial activities. And they say that as a diplomat, he is engaging in money laundering and other illicit financial activities, which, for example, they are saying that he is or he was facilitating the movement of illicit funds using his diplomatic pouches, because he is not surged through the customs. He does not go through customs inspection. So he was using his status and immunity to customs search and whatsoever to move money and gold outside of Zimbabwe. So, that is something that is a very, very serious charge right there. And if there is enough evidence, he will likely be prosecuted and even jailed. So they can also, he's being accused also of using his diplomatic cover to open bank accounts in foreign countries, like in other countries. So they can actually hide using those channels. Then they can hide money, and everything else. So also is accused of facilitating some corrupt government deals, government imomumu, working with some other boys we are not going to mention names, but marana zake, they are known right here in the nation of Zimbabwe. So, high-ranking people, they've used their connections and corruption to get lucrative government contracts using ZVIGANANDA zvavo zvePasi who will be their runners. So also another issue is shielding criminals or criminal enterprises. If you speak against Vana Uebert Angel, you are now a victim of the state, which means they use their influence and power to shield themselves. For example, the recent debacle with Vana Ola and others, it resulted from the mentioning of Uebert Angel and his associates in a podcast. And then they had to open criminal charges against Holyten, who was then forced to come and apologize. So that is some of the issues. So, Uebert Angel has caused suffering, because I like the report which I have seen, because it carries a lot. It carries what he did in terms of the crimes they purport to say he committed ABCD, but also they've went a step further to list the consequences of his action or of his actions to the nation of Zimbabwe. They are saying because of that, the people of Zimbabwe are suffering through weakened financial institutions, because when you move money out of Zimbabwe using diplomatic pouches, what it means is you have destroyed the banking sector, where you are supposed to deposit money in Zimbabwe. Then banks in Zimbabwe will settle bills here, and they will also help themselves to have the correspondence banking work correctly, because correspondence, it means a bank in the United Kingdom and a bank into Zimbabwe, they will simply cancel off their balances. A bank in the United Kingdom will cancel the balances right there, deposit in UK, and a bank in Zimbabwe will cancel the obligations of the other bank right here. And that is failing because there is no money in Zimbabwe. Money is moving out through illicit avenues. So as an ambassador is being accused of weakening financial institutions, or they are saying as a consequence of his action, that is what happened. And also, there is loss of investor confidence, which means when you see Zimbabwe failing to get investment, meaningful investment, it's because of the actions of people who are regarded as diplomats. Whenever they are involved in money laundering scandals like the gold mafia, both international and domestic investor confidence, is destroyed, because people would say, okay, we will move our money into Zimbabwe. It will be moved out of Zimbabwe through illicit channels, and we won't be able to take our money out or to invest elsewhere. So that is something which is very important. And also, there is an issue of economic growth. How do we grow an economy when there are impediments to that growth? Because when we destroy the banking sector, it means the banking sector can no longer give loans. It means I will need 20 days ndichiburitsa mari yangu kana ndine $20,000 iri bank account. What it means is I'm not going to be able to do my business as usual because of these corrupt people. So that then destroys the economy. There is no economic growth. The economy shrinks, companies close, people lose. Then corruption and political instability. So because of all that, we have seen Zimbabwe right now does have a political instability because of these people listed, Namdara Geza. They've caused political instability. So only the corrupt, they continue to make it, whilst the poor and vulnerable continue to suffer. So the rule of law has been weakened, and all those issues, when you look at them, Uebert Angel must be answerable to such issues. And I love an argument which was given. Yekuti, look at the amount of robberies which are now happening in Zimbabwe. We now have amateur robbers. Amateur robbers, people who simply say, okay, we don't have a means, we are tired, sick and tired, like the people who went to Chivayo's farm. Those are amateur robbers. And that is increased the crime rates. But it's because of ZVIGANANDA zviri kuzvikonzeresa izvozvo, because money is no longer circulating, money is no longer going into the pockets of other people. So zviri kunzi vana Uebert Angel nechimwe chikwata chake, they participated fully to the increased crime rates, which is a fact. So it also impacts social services in Zimbabwe, because money which is being laundered is not being taxed or regulated. So government ends up with fewer resources to invest in essential services. For example, the healthcare, the education, the infrastructure, and then we now have lower standards of living, especially with the poor. The public services, they are no longer there. Look at what happened to Zupco. It's failing. Look at what is happening on parastatals. They're failing. So also there is growing inequality, and that then affects vulnerable populations negatively. And what it means is they continue to benefit and the people continue to suffer. So also Zimbabwe then risks to have sanctions, especially from banks, World Bank, IMF, and other prominent banks, which might give correspondence to Zimbabwe. They might even start to refuse Zimbabwe certain transactions because of that. You can see, like, what do they call it? They call it FATF, yes, which deals with the issues of, I think that is a group which works with a financial action. They take action for when there are cases of money laundering, or if a country is perceived to be a haven for money laundering. The FATF then makes it possible for sanctions to be placed on that country in terms of financial issues. So also we have seen inflation happening. Zimbabwe makatengeswa laptop ye $9,000, but specs acho inoita $700. In any normal shop, if you buy it abroad, it costs around $400. So when you look at it, you can actually see that because of that, we are seeing inflated prices. We are seeing currency depreciation, currency failure. ZIG is failing because gold mafia is looting everything and anything. Who is the chief facilitator? Ndiye mkomana mdzaniri ari kunzaiwa, ndiye aripo. Then gold mafia then was not prosecuted. So vari kuti ivo, because of that, there is now loss of credibility in the government and its institutions. People will look at the police and say, okay, you have arrested the people who stole money from Chivayo's in-laws, but you have not arrested Chivayo, who put the same people in such a position. You have not arrested people like Uebert, who led the gold mafia and have been exposed and have never challenged the gold mafia in any competent law, a court of law. So what it means is the institution of the office of the president, it has lost its credibility. The governor, the RBZ, all these institutions, the police, the judiciary, they've lost their credibility, which means Zimbabwe as a government is then regarded as a failed state. So these are the issues which have been raised. All in all, it's a blanket together with other people who have been listed by Comrade Geza. They've participated all the same in these activities, but these are the issues which we have talked about. So Uebert is believed that he abused or he continues to abuse his office as a diplomat to make Zimbabwe continue to bleed. So this is it, Team Zimbabwe. And we always say, change will come to the nation of Zimbabwe. Whatever they try to do, change will come to the nation of Zimbabwe. That is the reason why Vana Angel, they have cancelled their church services and they are not coming to their church services because of such actions. So this is it. Mama June, thank you very much for coming this morning. And Brianna, thank you very much as well for coming. Says, Uebert Angels, untouchable aya. Yes, I agree with you. They need to be locked up to show the government is serious. Rangana, thank you very much as well for the contribution and for coming. Ronald says, they must rot in jail, Chikurubi. Duncan, anyone at Abatwa. Okay, so we are waiting to see today. Is very, very critical. But remember, Mnangagwa is still there as president, which means he might try by all means possible to shield one of his people, because this action, it will need police cooperation. And Mutamba is there as an ally of Emmerson Mnangagwa, which might try to slow down the pace. They'll do whatever they can to try to maintain a brave face and create a situation where it will look like Matreta Comrade Geza Anabasa. So remember, they are doing all they can. Hakuna kutorarwa last night, planning to have coordinated movements, not to be available padzimba dzavo and so forth, so that they are not caught unaware vari private residences avo. So this is what is happening in Zimbabwe. And Gibbs, thank you very much for coming as well. So regai trumpet chitarisa, regai trumpet chinamata, but Uebert Angel is no longer coming to Zimbabwe for the church service, which is something very, very important. Chinoratidza kuti whatever which is happening, it carries a lot of weight. Thank you very much, everyone. Let us meet in other episodes and other broadcasts.